Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in the state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to code, sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same empire back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. BBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boy's TV.
Everybody, I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is theblackfinancialchannel.com. The Black Financial Channel provides daily financial news and commentary from a black perspective. So make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com and follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. I'm actually taking questions on the Black Financial Channel Instagram page. So if you have a question that you'd like to throw in the pot for me to answer, go to the Black Financial Channel on Instagram and I will answer a couple of questions each day, and we can all be a little bit smarter as a result of this. Now, first of all, I want to jump in and tell you guys why I'm here talking to you now. I'm not going to be here long. It turns out that the House Democrats are actually pushing for a plan to pay all Americans $2,000 a month until after this COVID-19 situation ends, and I think that's great. I think any more money for the people is always a good thing. Keela says, I've been binge watching you all week. Well, thank you, sister. I love you too. God bless you. Thank you for saying that. Here's what's going on. Here's what it's called. It's called the Emergency Money for the People Act, introduced by Representatives Tim Ryan and Ro Khanna, would give $2,000 a month to Americans over the age of 16 who make less than $130,000 a year. Okay, sounds good. The payments would continue for at least 6 months and would last until unemployment falls to pre-coronavirus levels. Okay, give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. How many of you feel that it makes sense to at least acknowledge that $1,200 is not enough? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Say yes if you agree. Say yes if you agree that $1,200 is not enough, that we need more. Give me a yes if you agree with this plan to put more money in people's pockets. I'm going to raise my hand. I do agree. Yes, I do agree that they need more money out here. I do agree that people are struggling. I think we got to do something about it. Let me read more, and then I'm gonna tell you what I really think deep down, what's really going through my brain. I gotta filter everything to make sure I don't say stuff that upsets people, because sometimes truth and facts get in the way of people's emotions, and facts become an enemy. So I try to be careful with that. And so here's what they said. They said a one-time check for $1,200 isn't going to cut it, Khanna said. Okay, good point. Americans need sustained cash infusions for the duration of this crisis in order to come out on the other side alive, healthy, and ready to get back to work. Damn right. Damn skimpy. 100% agreement. No question about it whatsoever. I think it's a great idea. It's logical. It makes perfect sense because that's what we needed from the beginning. So here's the rest of that. Here's the rest of that discussion that needs to happen. I think that we're just being played right now. I think that there's something bigger happening, because I just can't. I wake up every day and I'm mad. I'm really mad. When I look at the CDC data and let me tell you what I just saw today. This is what was interesting to me. They said that if you are over 85, like you're really old, you're in a nursing home, you were born in 1935. If you catch COVID, you're still probably not gonna die. You guys didn't know that. You thought I was gonna say something different, didn't you? If you catch COVID-19 and you are over the age of 85, like you're old. I mean, you've been around for a long time. Like you were old in the 80s or in the 90s. And if you catch COVID and you're over 85, did you all know that you're probably not going to die? You have about a 10 to 27% chance of dying. If your great grandma, God bless her, who told me this bullshit? The Centers for Disease Control. So maybe they're just making things up. Maybe they're just throwing numbers out there. Maybe they're full of shit. But this is what I read from the CDC, Almighty Kabedi. I can't even read the name. But go look up data. See, and people get shocked when they hear me say something like that because they think I'm minimizing the virus. No, I'm not minimizing it. They think I'm making things up. No, I'm not making it up. Go look it up. Go to the Center for Disease Control website. I want numbers. I don't want speculation. And you look it up. If you're over 85 and you are in the absolute highest risk group ever, like an older person is at risk, an 85-year-old is at higher risk of dying from COVID than a young black man is of being shot or going to prison. And y'all know they send a lot of young brothers to prison. A lot of young brothers get shot. So you're in a high risk category without a doubt. But did you know that even if you're in the highest risk category that there is, and even if you're one out of maybe 5, 6, 7, 800 people to catch it, like if you look at the numbers, just do the math. I'm a mathematician. I taught math at the University of Kentucky. Do the math. If you have to be really lucky, not unlucky to catch the virus. Let's say it right. Let's make sure we don't understate this. If you're really, 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 really super unlucky and you catch it and you're over 85 and everybody's going to start planning your funeral, they're going to be like, oh my God, great grandma's 90 years old. How's she going to make it through? I just want to give you a little bit of, good news and tell you grandma is, according to the statistics, she's not supposed to die. Grandma still has to get even more unlucky to be one of that minority of COVID-infected senior citizens to actually die. That's if she's in the absolute highest risk group that there is. Now, let's go outside of the highest risk group. Let's go outside of the group that is most likely to die from the virus. Because viruses are real. It's serious, right? Human life is precious. Human life is valuable. Viruses are scary. So we got to take it seriously. We got to be real serious about this. We can't laugh it off. Don't be laughing. Stop laughing. This is COVID. This is serious. Stay home. Wash your hands. Social distance. Wear some gloves, maybe. That might carry your Alicia carries some hand sanitizer for me whenever I go anywhere because that's important. All right, so if you go outside of the highest risk group, here's what also happens in the data. When you get to the 75 to 85 group, still senior citizens, you drop the percentage of death if you're unlucky enough to get it, which is, again, 1 out of every several hundred people. Maybe if you have 500, 600 people in a room, one of those people might get it. So if you're really, really, really unlucky and you happen to get it and you're 75 or older, the odds of death, I think, are about 5%, 1 in 20. 1 in 20. I got to double check. Go to the CDC. Don't believe me, because I know y'all get mad at me when I come with facts and data and information. I don't get mad. Don't kill the messenger. Please don't kill the messenger. I don't want to die today. Go to the Center for Disease Control website and you can cuss them out because what what's there in the data, the numbers are not consistent with what the media is giving you, right? Now, go deeper. Let's say that you're under the age of 55. Let's just take a big leap so I don't stretch this out too long. Let's say you go to under the age of 55. Did you guys know that if you're under 55 and if you are one of the 1 in 600 or 700 people to get it, like if you're in that one tiny percent, 1 in 600, that's like if you take 1% of the population and chop it into like 5 pieces, that's what you get, right? So 1 in 1/500th of something, right? If you're unlucky enough to get it and you're under 55, your odds of dying drop to less than 1%. This is according to the CDC. Let me see if I can find the data. I should have it in front of me, actually. I'll put it on my Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. I did a cut and paste of exactly what the CDC said, because I just want to make sure you have facts. Again, this is a platform for intelligent black people. So if you're stupid, then you should probably leave. If you are a fearmonger, you should probably leave. If you are infected with the viruses of either extreme fear or you've been brainwashed by media, or if you like lying to people, then this is not the place for you. You should probably go. Those viruses are infecting everyone. And so here's what it says. COVID-19 in the U.S. indicates that fatality was highest among persons over the age of 85 or older, ranging from 10 to 27%. Again, that's still a minority now. 10% is 1 in 10. 27% is about 1 in 4. That means if 4 people over 85 catch it, 1 of them will die, 3 of them will survive. Okay? So if grandma gets it, grandma is supposed to live, according to what the Centers for Disease Control is saying, followed by 3 to 11% for people 65 to 84. So you're 65 to 84, you're older, you probably have pre-existing conditions. Your survival rate ranges from, your death rate ranges from 3% to 11%. So if your 65-year-old grandma gets it, she's really supposed to live. She has to get really, really, really unlucky in order to die. Let's keep going. If you're 55 to 64, it's 1 to 3%. If you're under 55, it is less than 1%. 20 to 54-year-olds, if they are unlucky enough to be one of the rare few, the 1% of the 1%, who, again, your odds of catching the virus about the same odds of being a billionaire. I don't know if they have more. Let me see. I'm not sure. Maybe not being a billionaire, but at least being a millionaire. Let me see. Let's see how many millionaires are in the U.S. Let's see. The U.S. has 18 million millionaires. Okay, so remember that number. Somebody write that number down. 18 million is the number of millionaires we have in the U.S. So how many people in the U.S. I'm looking up data now. Again, stop getting mad. I know you're gonna get emotional, right? Because some of you have been maybe personally affected. Maybe you've seen things. Maybe you watch CNN every day and they got in your head and everything. I don't understand what you're experiencing right now. I'm gonna diagnose you. I'm Dr. Boyce. Dr. Boyce is going to do a diagnosis. What you're experiencing is what they call cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is like, you ever see a woman who has a husband and she swears that her husband's faithful, and then you come to her and say your husband was sleeping with another woman? Well, what's she gonna do? She's gonna get mad. She's gonna cuss you out. She's gonna say you're full of it, whatever. And then you even show her pictures, and she sees the pictures, and you're thinking, if I show you pictures and I show you video of him sleeping with the woman, you're gonna get it. You're gonna accept what I'm saying. But she doesn't do that. She gets mad. Right? That's cognitive dissonance, because your first reaction when you hear something that is so drastically different from what media is telling you is gonna be pure, unadulterated, irrational anger. So I understand. So if you're mad, just go into a corner, calm down, and when you feel better, come out and decide if you want facts or fiction. Do you want truth or lies? Do you want data, or do you want innuendo or and media spin? Because that's what they're giving you. They're giving you lots of interesting spin. Does not mean viruses aren't real. Does not mean you don't protect yourself. Does not mean that you shouldn't protect the public. But this is what the data says. So how many people in the U.S. have coronavirus? So remember, we have 18 million millionaires. In the U.S., we have a total of 640,000 coronavirus cases. 640,000. So what does that say? You have a 30 times greater chance of being a millionaire than you do of catching coronavirus. I wonder how many billionaires are in the U.S. Let me see. In the U.S., there are 607 billionaires. So it's a little bit harder to be a billionaire. It's much harder to be a billionaire than it is to catch the virus. Okay, but you got 18 million millionaires. So your odds of being a millionaire are pretty low, like for the general population. Most people are not millionaires because they say that they call people the 1%, right? So well, that means that let's say that there's a 1% chance of you becoming a millionaire. 100 people, one of them becomes a millionaire. Maybe the numbers vary. I don't have the data in front of me, but your odds of becoming a millionaire are here. Your odds of having the virus are here. That's what the data says. So let's talk about what that says to me right now. Here's what I'm looking at when I see this bill that says, we should give payments of $2,000 a month to every American. Look, I'm more of a populist than anything. I'm probably too socialist to be in the field of finance. When I studied finance and I got my PhD, a lot of the white boys in my programs were hardcore capitalists, Fox News watchers. I'm more of a socialist because I grew up. I was born in the projects. I had a single mother, and so I know what it means to be poor. I know what it means to be in the struggle. I've seen homelessness up close. I've seen every struggle a black man can have. I've seen it up close enough to say that I don't believe in hardcore capitalism. So I give you that backdrop to tell you that I am a big fan of the idea of people getting more money from the government. I think $2,000 a month makes more sense than one little squeaky ass check for $1,200. What are you going to do with $1,200 other than, pay the car note, buy a couple weeks of groceries, and then be broke again? Like, seriously, like that's it. Like, you're not going to be able to do anything significant with $1,200 for most people. And that's just what it is for real, right? Even if you got a spouse and kids in the house, one-time payments are almost like a joke, almost a complete joke. But it's like giving somebody one meal and saying, "I want you to survive the rest of the week. I'm gonna feed you once, and you gotta serve." That's stupid, right? Crazy. But so $2,000 a month makes more sense, absolutely. But what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at a government whose currency is fiat currency, which means it's not backed by anything other than the human imagination. It's not backed by anything other than the faith and confidence we have in the credit worthiness of the U.S. government. I'm looking at fiat currency that has no value other than the fact that it's a bunch of pieces of paper that are backed by what you believe those pieces of paper are worth. I see them spending money like a broke rapper. Like, I see them spending money like MC Hammer did before he went to bankruptcy court. Like, I see them just spending money like it's going out of style. And I'm really trying to understand where all the money's going to come from to pay people every month, pretty much indefinitely, because they're saying that in this bill, they're saying that they want the payments to last until unemployment reaches pre-coronavirus levels. Are you serious right now? Do you know how good the economy was before we stopped everything? I mean, it's going to take years to get back to where we were. Years. Because you're going to have to disinfect. You ain't got to just disinfect the virus. You got to disinfect the fear. The fear will last far longer than the virus. Life in America will not be the same after this is over with. It will not be the same. It's like saying that you can take somebody and beat them and rape them repeatedly for 3 straight days, and then everything will go back to normal once you stop beating and raping them. That doesn't make any damn sense. No, there's trauma that's going to last long after the incident itself takes place. Our country has been traumatized. And I'm not saying that the trauma isn't real, but I'm just sitting there thinking, this is fascinating to see the whole country shut down and freeze up in complete total fear, when really this is, I can name 50 things far worse that could happen to the United States, far worse than this. For sure, far worse than us staying at home, having a few weeks off with our kids. Seriously, I can imagine, God forbid, a nuclear bomb hitting a major city and shutting down the entire grid, where we don't even have any form of digital communication, and there's no services available because a big section of the country is like blown up. I think about all kinds of other crazy things, or some virus becoming highly contagious that has a 60% mortality rate, or an Ebola outbreak. Imagine, God forbid, a more infectious version of Ebola. Ebola, if you remember Ebola scared the hell out of me, man. Ebola was like, they would be like, oh, it melts your insides, and you start bleeding from your eyes and from your butt crack, and then you die 3 days later. Like, Ebola scared me. Ebola really scared the hell out of me. And I'm still wondering, like, where did Ebola go? Like, they just kind of eradicated Ebola, I guess, and then suddenly it wasn't in the media anymore. And I was like, does Ebola just go away? Like, did Ebola go on vacation? Did they put Ebola on furlough? Did Ebola get unemployed? Like, what happened to Ebola? Seriously. And so I'm just sitting there thinking, if we're reacting this strongly to something that, again, only infects maybe one out of every... Again, remember, you have a 30 times greater chance of being a millionaire than you do of catching that virus. And then even if you catch it, if you're under 55, your odds, you have to be really super unlucky to die. At the very least, I would like to see media be ethical about how they report this. if they could be ethical about how they report this, I would be okay. What does ethical mean? Ethical means that every time you report that somebody dies, you put it into context. You give statistics, probabilities, maybe the probability, like, okay, there's 330 million people in the country. Your probability of catching the virus is 1 in 700 or whatever, right? Your probability of dying if you're under the age of 55 is less than 1%. So your odds as a healthy person of catching it and then dying and you're 30 years old is about 1 in 25,000. Like I would like something like that. Now that might be too much to ask, but at the very least, they should they should at least tell you if the person that they're talking about, when they tell you these stories, these heartwarming stories about some, person who's like a father and a loving dad who dies, whatever, let me know what pre-existing conditions did he have? Did he have pre-existing conditions? If he's somebody that just got out of heart surgery and then they died, that's a little bit different from a healthy person going down. I'm not saying that his life does not matter. I mean, but if you're talking about the value of human life, then then you have to remember that there are 7,000 people die every day, and they don't get reported in media. Nobody talks about that. So does that mean you don't care about it, or does that mean that you can't do anything about it? So it just is what it is, right? So I think that ethical reporting in media, where you're not trying to scare people, you're trying to empower people with information, facts, and context, is a much more ethical way to talk about all of this. Also, I think that if you talk about, the virus itself without talking about all the death and all the suffering that will come from prolonged unemployment, all the suffering that will come from a massive spike in homelessness, there are millions of families that are going to be kicked out of their houses. Their children will be living in the street. I'm sure that if you told them, like, hey, you got a chance of either having a place to live or going out and having a 1 in 20,000 chance of dying from a virus, most people would rather have a place to live. Seriously. I think that if you don't talk about the effects of unemployment, homelessness, and poverty, and how much death and suffering is going to come from that, then you're kind of being a little bit naive. You're being incredibly idealistic. You're being horribly destructive and horrifically insensitive to the fact that millions of people are like, you know what? Just tell me how to protect myself so I can get back to work. Seriously. Did y'all know that 479,000 people died from HIV and AIDS this year? This year. Not last year's another 400 and something thousand. This year, 479,000 people died from HIV and AIDS. How many of you, give me a yes or no, you know that 479,000 people died from HIV AIDS. Now, just to be clear, just so we can compare statistics, I think that's about at least maybe 12 to 15 times more. 28,000 people died from corona. Okay, so 479,000 people died from HIV AIDS. 28,000 in the U.S. died from corona. So about 10 times more people died from HIV AIDS than corona. How many of you, given that data, and it's a contagious disease, right? It's very contagious. And you can't get it through. It's not airborne. You don't get it from shaking hands, but you get it from, getting cozy. You know what I'm talking about. And given that you know this data, how many of you are going to stop having sex? How many of you, give me a yes or no, how many of you are going to stop doing the oochie coochie because you know that there's a 1 in, 1,000 chance or 1 in 500 chance or whatever that you're gonna catch them? Because some of y'all sleeping with a freak. Some of y'all, met somebody, don't know where their stuff has been, don't know who they were getting with before they got with you. Some of y'all ladies might be sleeping with a dude who just finished sleeping with his stripper friend, right? Some of the men, you trust a big butt and a smile. She might be, getting busy with that. You might be dating a Cardi B, because women don't tell you all the stuff they got going on. Women are real slick with it. Men, we all sloppy. We like dogs. Dogs are sloppy. Cats are very neat and organized with their stuff, right? So cats bury their shit, right? So that little sweet little girl you met in church, she might really, really like to get it in. She might be the freak of the week, and it's okay. I'm not judging. I'm not here to slut shame, right? But what I'm really here to say, I'm here to ask you, how many of you, yes or no, are going to stop having sex? Because I just told you that 479,000 people died this year from HIV AIDS. The answer is no. I bet none of you are going to stop. I hope you don't stop. Sex is great. It's fun. just be careful. So what do, right? Well, when you sleep with somebody, first of all, you don't sleep with everybody. Come on, man. You ain't got to get with everybody. Just because it looks good don't mean you got to put your life on the line. Sex is very serious, very sacred, very important, right? At least that's my personal belief. But then also, if you do decide to take the dive, to take the plunge, you protect yourself, right? If you're sleeping with somebody, you don't know them, and you're not wearing protection, then you have reason to be a little bit nervous because you're not being smart. But you protect yourself. Well, I think that what we should do, this is me, I'm getting, with each passing day, I get more committed to this idea. I believe that we should let America get back to living life, because I don't want to live like this. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to spend the rest of my life inside the house, scared to go talk to my neighbors. I don't want to, sorry, maybe one of my neighbors is going to cough on me and I might be that 1 in 25,000 who dies from the virus. Well, so be it. I'll take that 1 in 25,000 chance in order to connect with other human beings. I like when I go to my events. And now mind you, listen, let's keep it 100 here. I'm in the high risk group. I just realized that. I think I'm in the high risk group. Number one, I'm not over 55, so my odds are still less than 1%. But number one, I had some high blood pressure stuff I had to deal with, right? Me and Alicia had to work through that. That was when I lost my weight, when she had me running all that. Number two, when you are a public figure, you are in a very high risk group. I shake probably 100 times more hands than the average person. Did y'all know that? Everywhere I go, when I go give a speech, there's hundreds of people in the audience. There'll be a line of 100 people waiting for me to sign their book, and with all those people, with anybody who wants a hug, I hug them. They could all of them can have the corona. I hug them, I give them dap, shake their hand, all of that, right? Alicia's got the hand sanitizer, she says, here, put this on your hands, because it's a lot of germs floating around. But you know what? I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I just don't care. It's okay. I take care of myself. I get plenty of sleep. I exercise. I keep positive thoughts, because fear, by the way, fear will affect your immune system, in case you did not know. Fear affects your immune system. So that's why hypochondriacs really do get sick, because they're always worried about getting sick, right? I will go wash my hands as soon as the event is over. First thing I do is I go and I scrub my hands and my arms and everything. I have to cleanse my body and I cleanse my spirit, because I'm an introvert. And as an introvert, when I'm around people for a long time, I get exhausted. I love people, but I get drained, and I have to go into a room and shut the lights out and sit in the dark for a while, just so I can recenter myself and cleanse my spirit. And also that's after I've cleansed my hands. And you know what? I'm okay with living like that. And if the world were wide open right now, if they said, okay, everybody come out, let's get back to life, I would do an event tomorrow and have no fear whatsoever. So so for those of you who are in there who are scared, just know I have far more reason to be scared than you do. Plus, I've been a black man my whole life. If the easiest way to die in America is to be a black man men die all the time for all kinds of stuff. But you know what? I'm not going to sit around waiting to die. I'm going to live. And if tomorrow is my last day, then so be it. Because I'm not going to let fear be the driving force behind my actions and activities. I refuse to live that way. So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm really here talking to everybody that wants to listen, but really specifically those who like facts and data and information, and also those who also want to know that you're not crazy. If you're not scared, then you're not crazy. I think you're the most logical person in the room, because right now, a big chunk of the country done lost its damn mind, and I don't want our country run by hypochondriacs. Fine, y'all stay home. Just if you scared, just stay in your house forever, and nothing bad will ever happen. In fact, never get in a car, because you do know that there's a 1 in 10,000 chance that you're going to be in a car wreck, right? Don't get in no cars, y'all. It's bad. Don't go visit no other countries. Don't go to New York City, because people die in New York. Do you know how many people die? Do you know a person? I think they said 7 people die in New York every hour. Don't do anything. Stay in your house. Stay under your bed and stay away from all human beings, and you'll be completely safe. The rest of us are going to go live. We're going to go live. Just be smart. If the virus is out there, fine. If that means wearing a mask, okay, wear a mask. If that means keeping your hand sanitizer on deck, do that. If that means social distancing, do that. But I think people want to get back to life. And I think, and going back to the financial angle of this, $1,200 is not enough for you to stay in your house for the next 3 years. It just isn't. $2,000 a month ain't gonna last forever. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough money in the government to pay people to stay home for the next year. They just don't have the resources. So I just think that we have to make some hard choices. If you want my more serious answer, here's what you do. Since people over 85 are in the highest risk group, again, they're still not expected to die, even if they get infected, but they have the 10 to 15, 20% chance, whatever it was, 27%. They keep those people home, keep them in the nursing home, keep them quarantined. If you live with a person who's in that risk group, then you get quarantined too. We send you a big check, maybe $5,000 a month, so you can stay home with your great-great-grandma and stuff like that. Young people can come out. It's not going to hurt you. Just social distance. Be smart. Protect yourself. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. You're going to be okay. And then let's just get back to living life. That's what I think. So I think the bill is a great thing. I don't know how we're going to afford that. One of the problems, again, I told you, I'm too socialist to be a capitalist. I'm too socialist to fit in with the capitalists. But here's the problem. Socialism sometimes comes with a little bit of naivete when it comes to understanding money and realizing money must come from somewhere. So, for example, a lot of people feel like I'm marrying a social worker, by the way, in case you want to. So I get the social stuff every day, all the time, and I invite it because it balances me. It keeps me focused on the things that matter. And so here's the problem. Like, sometimes I'll hear my socialist friends, like they'll do weird stuff, like they'll talk about how evil all the corporations are and all the business owners and millionaires are evil, but then they'll go beg a millionaire to give them a job, or they'll go to a corporation. I'll be like, well, don't you work for a corporation? Like a lady said, she said, Dr. Boyce, you keep telling people to invest in the stock market. I'm not investing in capitalism. I said, but you go to work every day. You work for Target. Target is a corporation. You do know you're investing more than I am, because you're giving them 100,000 hours of labor throughout the course of your life. Like, you're a heavy investor in capitalism. The only problem is you're not getting any of the benefits because you're not taking advantage of all the opportunities that exist for you. Or I'll have my socialist friends who will tell black business owners, well, if you really care about the black community, you should give your products away for free. And I'm like, well, how come you don't tell white people to give their products away for free? You tell black business owners to give their products away for free. That's why you ain't got no damn jobs in your community, because you kill all the black businesses and then you go support the white businesses. You'll tell the black man to give you the product for nothing. If you down for the cause, then you'll give it away for free. But then you'll go and you will literally pull money out of your punk ass pocket and go and pay the white man every damn day of the week, every single time. Why do you hate black people so much that you will force black business owners to give you free stuff and then go gladly pay the white man? That don't even make no damn sense. So I'm just telling you that socialism kind of has a little bit of a naive perspective when it comes to money. They're not always able to see reality. Doesn't mean that there's not merits to those ideologies, right? Socialist communist ideology, in my opinion, tends to be more accurately focused on the poor and on human beings and just the human element of life, which is extremely important. America has lost that. America has become far too capitalist to be a healthy country, and that's what's going to be our downfall. But this idea of going through life as if anybody with money is the enemy and we want to destroy corporations, or like when Ocasio-Cortez went into Brooklyn and was like, Amazon cannot come into our city. We want to hell with Amazon. Fuck Amazon. Get Amazon out of here. People were mad. They were like, but Amazon they're creating $100,000 jobs. Like, are you going to give us a $100,000 job? Then you need to shut up. Like, seriously, people were mad at her for that because there was no balance. There was no balance. So that's the idea. At the end of the day, everybody in here, if you want to know kind of what one way to describe our platform, this platform here, is it's not just about blackness and all forms of black empowerment and economic empowerment and all that. It's also about common sense. I just believe in common sense. If you want to have common sense, you want to get a good example of that. Common sense to me means that if I'm debating with you, I'm not going to walk away assuming that you're 100% wrong. I'm not going to try to convince you that I'm 100% right. I'm going to basically sit down and talk to you as if we have different perspectives on the same issue and we can learn something from each other. So when you tell me, Dr. Boyce, we can't go back to work, the virus is out there, I'm going to have to try to process and internalize that and say, you're right. The reason you feel this way is because you have a grandmother who was affected by the virus, or maybe you've seen things in media, or because viruses are real and we don't want people to get sick. So what I'm going to do is come back and say, yes, but we also don't want everybody to be broke, unemployed, homeless, and starving to death. So let's see if we can find a middle ground where I can get you to understand why it's important for people to keep their jobs, and you can help me understand why it's important to keep people safe. And then we find a resolution where we can say, how can people keep their jobs and be safe at the same damn time? Our country has lost that balance. Our country has lost its common sense. And now you're having the largest voices in the room, the biggest voices in the room, tend to be the extremists, and the extremists are driving the country off a cliff. The extremists on the left in the Democratic Party are the reasons that the Democrats cannot win an election and will probably not defeat Trump for the race for the White House. The Democrats, their extremists and the total chaos has actually caused them to become a little bit of a laughingstock. So, for example, you support these ridiculous things like the Me Too movement, where you're just taking people down with no evidence and just accusations or whatever. And now, guess what? Your presidential candidate, Joe Biden, now has a rape accusation on his back. He's got a lady, Tara, what's her name, who's running around saying, that man raped me. And so if you claim to be a feminist and you support women and you're a liberal, well, how can you support Joe Biden when he's got a woman that's saying he raped me, right? So now you end up looking silly because you're finding that your outrage is selective outrage. When your outrage is selective, then people don't take it seriously. The people on the right, we know what's going on with the right? The idea that you put a guy like a Donald Trump in office, that's absolutely ridiculous because Donald Trump is a complete idiot. And also the people on the right are the reason that the country screwed up in the first place. They're the reasons that we are so capitalist. That's the reason why the government doesn't have the resources to take care of the people. They're the reason why the medical care system, despite the fact that you spend more on healthcare than any country on earth, you're not even in the top 30 in the world in quality of healthcare. Like, think about this. You just got hit with a virus that only kills 1 in every 25,000 people, and you ain't got enough ventilators, you ain't got enough masks, you ain't got enough hospital beds, you ain't got enough of nothing. My belief is that if you're spending more money on healthcare than any country on earth, you should be ready. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. We ain't never been ready, so we trying to get ready, and we're looking stupid in the process. So, our country's backward, our country's screwed up, and my position at the end of the day is I want facts and data, man. I can't watch media. I don't care. CNN, they do the same thing. I know the formula. It's like, let me show you. We're not going to give you the statistics. We're not going to give you the backdrop. We're not going to give you the context. We're going to show you one story that with piano music in the background about some lady who was unlucky enough to catch the virus, and she had children, and it's sad, and our goal is to get you to not just feel sad and to cry, but to also get you so scared that you think it might happen to you, when they don't tell you that maybe the lady was incredibly obese and had 3 or 4 pre-existing conditions and also got super unlucky in the process. They don't tell you that, and I think that's highly unethical. I want to know, whenever somebody like when they did the story, the poor guy that was on the bus in Detroit, I felt bad for the brother. He's another black man. Why would I not feel bad for him? But you can look at that brother and you would wonder, how healthy was this brother before this happened? Doesn't mean that he deserved this to happen at all. But I just you kind of have to have all the information. That's it. If you can't get all the information, then don't talk to me, because to me that means you're coming with an agenda. You're coming with spin, and my agenda at the end of the day is for everybody to be safe first and foremost. And also for everybody to be able to take care of their family. You cannot have a country where 300 million people are staying home because 1 in every 25,000 people have an unfortunate death, and half of those people live in a nursing home. Seriously, half those people live in a nursing home. It's like the most unbelievable, stranger than fiction scenario I've ever seen in my life. Again, doesn't mean that it's not real. If you have a personal experience with it, then I am not trying to say that it's not relevant. It's just like talking about people being shot. You know, like if you've seen it up close, then you're traumatized by it. So you kind of walk away thinking that everybody might shoot you. But the reality is that most people don't get shot. So it doesn't mean that getting shot isn't a possibility. Doesn't mean that it can't happen. Doesn't mean that it's not relevant. But it does mean that you can't live your life every day assuming that when you get out of bed, somebody might shoot you if you walk out on the front porch. If that's how you think, then you're probably too stupid to be on this channel. I want to say that first and foremost. And then two, you probably have already killed your ability to ever live an enjoyable life because you need therapy because you're living your life based on fear. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's healthy. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to go. Do I think Trump handled it well? No. I think Trump is too self-absorbed. He's too arrogant. He's not presidential because he's so petty, and I think that's. But Trump, remember, Trump is a flare-up. Trump is he is a virus in the sense that he is a flare-up of the political process due to the fact that President Obama pushed the country so far to the left and ignored so much of the country that people pretty much got to the point where they wanted anything other than what the Democrats were giving them. I'm not talking about Obama himself, I'm talking about the Democrats. Because Obama's actually a smarter guy. He's a more measured guy. I'd rather have him be president in a crisis like this. But at the end of the day, the liberals can't walk around here with this holier than thou bullshit attitude where you're constantly shutting people down, shutting people up, telling people they're wrong, telling people you're homophobic, you're fatophobic. I saw somebody use the term fatphobic to describe Lizzo, like Diddy's fatphobic because he didn't want Lizzo's big jelly rolls twerking in front of children, and I'm like, fat phobic, like that's a term now? Shut up. Like seriously, like you're truthophobic because you're killing people's freedom of speech by constantly correcting people and telling them where they're wrong and acting like you're better than them. Nobody wants to hear that crap. Like seriously, let people be free to express themselves, and if you don't agree, just disagree. But when you had college campuses where the students were literally shutting down and blocking people from coming to campus to speak because they didn't agree with them, do you understand? And maybe I'm biased because I'm a scholar. I believe in freedom of expression. I believe in freedom of thought. Do you know how dangerous that is to have a country where you have people that are running the nation like a bunch of fascists, where they pretty much are saying that if you don't agree with me, then you will be crushed. We will destroy you. We will isolate you. We will annihilate you. We will marginalize you. Then how does that make you any better than Trump? You run around here, you talk about, because Donald Trump is up there, like he wants to be King Trump. He admires Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin because he wants to be all powerful. He wants to be a dictator. He doesn't want to be a president, right? So you make jokes like, oh, King Trump said this and King Trump said that because he wants to be all powerful. Well, I'm sorry. I feel very oppressed by the language of the left. The language of the left, where you, for example, when they were calling black people homophobic because we're not on board with every ounce of the gay agenda, that's incredibly oppressive. That's far more oppressive than anything Donald Trump has ever done. Or when you're running around, you're telling people, like, for example, when I said that thing about Lizzo, when I said maybe we shouldn't mass market obesity and unhealthy lifestyles to children and to black people who are dying every day from obesity and unhealthy lifestyles, they pretty much came and tried to shut me down. They couldn't shut me down because I don't work for anybody, but they did. They were like, oh, this guy, he's this, he's that. And, so if I didn't have thick skin, I probably would have been bothered by what they were saying, because white media literally ran with a narrative and didn't even turn around for 1 second to try to find out what I wonder what this professor with a high IQ who has more education than my whole entire family, I wonder what he might have been thinking when he made that statement. They didn't do that. They reduced me to a one-dimensional caricature, and they pretty much mass marketed that, and they ran with that. Not one of them called me to say, can you clarify and explain what you meant, Professor Watkins? They didn't do that. And it's okay they didn't do that, because I know how they think. They had an agenda. People who have an agenda don't like truth, and they don't like facts because the facts don't always fit your pre-existing condition. Their pre-existing condition is the mental illness that says that I have to be right and I have to win no matter what, and I'm going to oppress anybody who disagrees, and it backfires on their asses every damn time. So Donald Trump is not the fault of the black men who chose not to vote. Donald Trump is not the fault of all the white folks who voted for him. They played some role, but it's not their. He's not completely their manifestation. Donald Trump is in large part a manifestation of the oppressive behavior of the left and liberals and the Democratic Party, who were going around crushing and destroying anybody who spoke out of turn. That is where the Donald Trumps come from. So if you don't want another Trump, then be open and be free. Like, for example, if you don't want Trump to be reelected, then maybe you should listen when black people say we deserve reparations. Maybe when black people say we deserve reparations, you need to deal with that instead of blowing it off and acting like the question was never asked. Maybe you need to address that. Or you're going to deal with the fact that millions of black people are going to stay home. And guess what? You're going to have another Donald Trump in the White House. So that's what I see. I'm going to stop talking because I got to get back to work. But I'm not going to say I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Some of you did. Some of you hated it, I'm sure. And it's okay. It's okay to hate it. But it is what it is. And if you want other versions of reality, or if you want, someone to just give you spin or to give you a lie or whatever, then go to a different YouTube channel, because I have 700,000 followers or something. I don't need it anymore. It's totally fine for you to leave. In fact, if you're on my Facebook page, I like it when people unfriend me, because I got this long list of people that want to be on my page, and I can only have 5,000. So I really am actually quite happy when people unfriend me. It really makes me happy. I swear to God. So anyway, do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button before you go. Hit the share button. Hit the subscribe button. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's The Real Boyce Watkins. Follow me on Twitter at Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. Also, I want everybody on the platform. Now, this is where I'm going to pressure you guys. I really want you to buy stock for your family, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot, because I know times are tough and we're in different situations. But start buying stock for your family. And there's a free training on how to buy your first share of stock at firstshareofstock.com. That's firstshareofstock.com. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Love you guys. Be good. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to code, sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same empire back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. BBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.